Guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are wanting to start selling on Amazon, but you're nervous because you don't know if you need a patent, you don't know if you need an LLC, and you don't know if you need a trademark, this is the video for you. I'm going to run through all of the things that you're going to need to get started and the things that you can hold off on. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So stay with me until the end of this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel if you like the content. I want to start this video off by saying that I am not a tax professional. I'm not a CPA. I am not a lawyer. I am just an Amazon seller who has done it for many, many years. And this is the information that I know. And so that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys. But if you are in a position where you are having a lot of questions or needing detailed advice and recommendations, I do recommend that you have a consultation with a CPA and someone who is an expert on this topic. But I am wanting to give some kind of beginner-friendly information as far as what you need to start selling on Amazon. So with that, let's get into it. The purpose of an LLC is to offer protection to you as an individual by creating a separate business entity that stands alone. So your LLC would exist by itself, and then you as an individual would exist by yourself. So let's say that your name is Sarah. Sarah is an individual. She is a person with a social security number. Sarah can create an LLC and call it Sarah's LLC, and that is separate from Sarah as a person. The reason that having an LLC offers certain protections is because with that separation comes protection of your personal assets. So a personal asset could be anything from a house to a car to jewelry to anything that you own that has value to it could be a personal asset. So where this would come into play in terms of selling on Amazon is if for some reason someone were to sue you because they injured themselves using your product. If you were operating your Amazon business under an LLC or a limited liability company, they would be suing your LLC and not you. So everything that you have, all of your personal assets that belong to you as an individual would be protected compared with the assets of your LLC. So let's say that your LLC had $10,000 in the bank and you own a house that's worth $300,000. If your Amazon business is sued and it's under your LLC, the only thing that would be at risk would be what is under the LLC. So that $10,000 in your bank account, that is what could potentially be garnished or won through a trial or a settlement or whatever. Your house would be completely safe because you're separated. So that is the protection that you're getting. However, when you are starting to sell on Amazon, you may not have an LLC, and that is completely fine. I can just say from my own personal experience and, for doing this for the last 4 years, I don't know anyone that has been sued for their Amazon products. What I will say is that typically if someone is going to want to seek compensation from being harmed in some way, they are going to make sure that it's going to be worth the time, the energy, and the money to pursue that. And if you are a sole proprietor or you're just an individual selling on Amazon, it wouldn't necessarily be worth their time to sue you as an individual. I hope that that makes sense. So it's not something that I would lose sleep over. I really would not stress out too much about the concept of what if someone sues me or what if something goes wrong. You're going to get insurance. You're going to make sure that you're selling something that is not dangerous and something that is fairly simple. So this is not something that you should lose sleep over. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking about getting an LLC because you're concerned about the tax benefits that you could possibly get with an LLC. And what I want to say is this, and this is something that I didn't know until I started my own business. So don't worry if you had no clue, because I didn't. But when you're selling as a sole proprietor or as an individual, that is essentially seen the same exact way by the IRS as if you were selling as a single member LLC. So when you are the only person who owns your business, you don't have any business partners or anyone else who is involved, and you are a single member, not multiple members, no one else is listed on the documents for your LLC, that is the same thing as being a sole proprietor, and the IRS looks at that the same exact way. So if you're in the United States and you're thinking, oh, if I get an LLC, I'm automatically going to save money on taxes, That is not the truth. What you're going to get is that protection of your personal assets, but the way that it could help you potentially with your taxes is if you file your taxes in a certain way. So for example, if you filed your taxes as an S corporation or as a C corporation or something like that, then you could potentially save some money, but you also will pay more money in different places. So you want to make sure that you're not just listening to random information on the internet or from people who don't really know what they're talking about, because someone could give you the advice to file as an S corp without knowing all of the details of what that is actually going to entail. So be very careful, but I will just say if you're thinking you're going to save money on taxes just by having the LLC, that's not the case. So if you're someone who is starting out, you don't have a very big budget to work with, you do not need to run out and file your paperwork to get an LLC immediately. That is something that can come later on. And just for your own peace of mind, know that when I started selling on Amazon, I was a sole proprietor. I did not have an LLC. All of my Amazon income was being funneled directly into my personal bank account, and that is how it went for about the first year of my business. So I was making over 6 figures when I decided to actually file for an LLC and get the rest of my paperwork situated. So there isn't necessarily a rush to go out and file immediately because it is going to cost you money. And depending on what state you file in, those fees could be pretty substantial, and you do have to pay yearly to keep them up. So that is something that you don't have to stress too much about right in the beginning. Just, start your Amazon business as a sole proprietor, start making some money, and then you can go out and establish your LLC. The next thing I want to talk about are patents. So if you are someone who is wanting to sell on Amazon, you might be wondering, hey, since I am coming up with a product, does that mean that I have to get a patent to protect my product idea? And the short answer is no, because theoretically, you are making a small or minor change or multiple minor changes to an existing product. You are not inventing anything. And a patent is an exclusive right that is given to protect an invention. So some kind of unique and brand new way of doing something. It can be either a process or a product. So if you are inventing something that has never been seen before, then yes, you could go down the route of getting a patent. And there are different types of patents. They've got design patents, utility patents, which both are for different types of protections. So it gets very complex when you go down the patent rabbit hole. The great thing about Amazon FBA is that you are most likely not inventing anything. You are literally doing research on a product that people are already interested in, and you are making small changes. Those minor changes that you make to your product, no matter how genius you think they are, no matter how unique you think they are, that is not going to be something that you're going to be able to get a patent on because it is not brand new. You're simply making small adjustments to something that already exists. So for that reason, you definitely don't need to stress out too much about patents. But what I will say is patents, along with trademarks, which is what we're going to talk about next, are two things that you want to make sure that you are not infringing on other people's intellectual property. So if someone else already owns a patent for a product that you want to sell, for example, let's call it a Scrub Daddy. I don't know if you guys know what that product is. I'll throw it up right here, but it is a sponge. They were on Shark Tank. It's a unique type of look to the sponge. You know what? I don't actually know if they're patented or if they just have a trademark. And that's something that you always want to check on. You want to make sure that you are searching for both, because sometimes you might think that something is patented. So maybe they have some type of protection around the design of the Scrub Daddy, which I'm sure they do, or the utility of the Scrub Daddy, or maybe they don't. Maybe they're really utilizing and thriving off of the name Scrub Daddy itself and not the actual use of the product. I hope that I'm making sense here. So there's a difference between the patent and the trademark. We'll get more into the trademark in a sec, but let's continue focusing on patents because I want to be as clear as possible that if you are going down the route of getting a patent, it's going to be very expensive and it's going to be a very long process. Getting a patent can take up to 5 years or even more, depending on what it is you're trying to protect. So it is not an easy process, and it is something that is very, very involved. So unless you are creating something or inventing something from scratch, you are not going to be pursuing filing for a patent. And then aside from that, as I was saying before, you want to make sure that you are not infringing on other people's patented products or ideas. The best way to check and make sure that you're not is to go to either the website uspto.org or the website Google Patents, or just go to Google and type in patents, and then you'll be able to search for any patents there. If something is active, then that means you cannot sell it. If it's not active anymore because they didn't pay the fees or the time has expired or whatever, then theoretically it's fair game. But if you see that something has an active patent, stay away from it, because if you try to sell it on Amazon, which your supplier will probably make it for you, even if it's patent protected, because your supplier will most likely be in China. They don't care and they don't know, so they're going to make it if you pay them to make it. But the last thing you want to happen is for your product to get to Amazon, there's a patent that you didn't know about, and now the patent owner sends you a cease and desist, your listing gets taken down, and now you have 500 units of product that you're not able to sell because you didn't do your patent check. So make sure that you do that and you'll be good to go. There are lots of products that are patent, but there are lots that are not. You know, if something has been around for a long time, it's not going to have an active patent on it, so you wouldn't really have to worry about that too much. So that is something else that I know a lot of beginners are worried about, and it's not as scary as you think. Patents do exist. Just check that there's not a patent on the product that you want to sell, and you're good to go. And last but not least, what we all came here for, do you need a trademark in order to sell on Amazon? You will be pleased to know that no, you do not need a trademark to sell on Amazon. There are some instances where having a trademark is really going to help you out, but it is not a requirement, especially in the beginning when you're starting out. So let me explain. First, let me tell you what a trademark actually is. So a trademark is a protection or a safeguard for your brand that essentially allows you to protect yourself from your brand name and the likeness of your brand to be used for profit by others. So it stops other people from using either your logo or your brand name in order to make money. So if we're thinking about that in the context of selling on Amazon, think about if you're selling a product that is making $10,000 a month and your brand name is Olive Branch, which I don't know if anyone really has a trademark on that, but let's use that as an example. If your brand name is Olive Branch and it's recognizable and lots of people are buying from your brand, and then another brand also tries to sell their products under Olive Branch, that is going to present a problem for you, because they're then going to be taking away your customers and profiting off of the reputation that you have built with your own brand. So you see that being able to have that trademark can help protect you, because now with the trademark, you can get their listing taken down because they are impersonating your brand or selling non-authentic versions of your products, which is not allowed on Amazon if you do have a trademark and your brand registered. So it's very important that you consider getting a trademark once you have something to protect. But here is the trap that some beginners fall into, is honestly overestimating their brand before they have anything to show for it. And what I mean by that is going out and getting a trademark before you've even made $1 on Amazon doesn't make a lot of sense. You can do it. I'm not saying it's wrong to do it, but I'm just saying that your brand name might be something that you end up changing. Your logo might be something that you end up changing. So if you go through the process of filing for your trademark, you spend the time, you spend the money, and then you decide that your brand name doesn't make sense anymore, or your logo needs to be changed, or you want to change the colors or whatever, it's going to be too late at that point because you've already spent the money and the time. So you would lose out on that in order to file a brand new trademark with your updated stuff, which you can see could be a very annoying process to have to go through more than once. So what I would recommend is selling your products under whatever brand name you want And the caveat with that is you have to check and make sure that no one else already has the trademark for the brand name that you're trying to use. So remember the website I mentioned before, uspto.gov. You can also check for existing trademarks on that website. So you want to make sure that you go there and ensure that no one else is already using the brand name. For example, let's say that you live under a rock and you've never heard of Nickelodeon before. And now you decide that you're going to sell kids' toys under the brand name Nickelodeon. What's going to happen if you spend $2,000 on inventory? The inventory gets sent to Amazon. You're excited. Your listing is amazing. Your photos look great. You're ready to make money. And then the second your listing goes up, Nickelodeon gets your listing taken down because you're using their trademarked brand name. And now you have a bunch of product that you can't sell. That's going to be a really, really terrible experience for you and something that is completely preventable by doing a trademark search before you actually move forward with placing your order with your supplier. So the trademark is definitely nice to have, but it is not necessary right in the beginning of your Amazon journey. You can absolutely get by with just selling your products under your brand name and then getting the trademark once you feel confident and you're sure that you're going to want to stick with that brand and move forward with it. Now, here's a little bit of a bonus. So if you are selling on Amazon, you can qualify for a program or kind of a feature called the Brand Registry. And what Brand Registry does is it allows for you to have extra protection when selling on Amazon. It allows you to be able to showcase more of your product within your listing. So it just gives you a bunch of perks and benefits when you are brand registered. The reason I'm talking about brand registry in the first place is that in order to be brand registered, you need to have a trademark. Now, here's the cool thing that Amazon does, which I think is really great. When I first started selling on Amazon, this was not the case. You were not able to get brand registered until you had a fully accepted and processed trademark with USPTO, or the United States Patent and Trademark Office. That's what it stands for. And you would not be able to get brand registered. They realized that that was a flawed system because that is a process that can take months, 6 months to a year to over a year or more. So they didn't want sellers waiting forever to be brand registered. And so now you were able to still qualify for brand registry when you file for your trademark. So you don't have to have the whole process completed, but you just need the number that you have used to file, and that can be used to qualify for brand registry, which is really nice. So when you get to the point where you are wanting to do the trademark, make sure you also get brand registered so you get those extra perks with Amazon. I hope this video gave you a clear explanation of these 3 really important kind of legal protections and when it would make sense for you to go ahead and establish them. So if you haven't realized, what this whole video is trying to tell you is that you do not need to have any of these 3 things, an LLC, a patent, or a trademark, to start selling on Amazon. They are going to be components of your business that you're going to want to get settled at some point. But when you're starting, the most important thing is to just start. Don't stress out about, all of these different things that you think you need to have. I'm here to tell you that you don't have to have them just to get started. I encourage you, sign up for your Amazon seller account, sell.amazon.com. I've got a beginner's guide video where I lay out all of the steps of selling on Amazon. So just get started, start looking for products. And then when the time is right, go ahead and do your LLC, get your trademarks, and kind of firm everything up. But the most important thing is to stop procrastinating and get started today. If there's anything that you need, any questions that you have, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.